Hey everybody, welcome to the Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Richie Hustles. Today I have a super special guest. She's literally the female version of me. She sells on Amazon. She pushes out six figures, a true hustler on social media. You're going to love our guest today. Who's the boss? We've got Miss Rebecca Martinez, aka FindItFlipIt.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. I say it was hard to get in touch because it was like I had to go through so many loopholes to try to get. It was like trying to get in touch with the Amazon president.
Yeah.
Like,
I hear that. I do hear that a lot. A lot of people are like, it's so hard to get in touch with you. Hello. And I'm like, I promise I'm getting, because I run it all. Like my social medias, I cannot give up my Instagram. Like I can never outsource it. I just love it too much. But I do. And like the requests, and we were talking about it earlier, but the keywords or whatever gets filtered, like I have a bunch of filters on, I guess, that I don't know how to change. So everything just goes all over the place. But thank you for...
Yeah, no problem. I first found out who you were. It looks like you've been around for quite a while, which is amazing, judging by your Instagram following, 84,000 almost, just about that?
Yeah.
84,000 on Instagram?
Almost 83.6, I think.
And I attended the 83.6. Can we double check? Can we check that?
Can we fact check?
I first found out about you because I attended, I'm friends with Roma the Romer and Taylor Jones, and they had a Miami conference. And one of the speakers, which was you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, who is this? I don't know who it is. And I said, who is this? Because I feel like in general, I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you might see it more than I would see it, but I feel like females are underrepresented in the Amazon space. Like I don't see a lot of straight up grinding, hustling females such as like yourself.
Yeah, no. We're definitely rare.
It's crazy. So I was pretty impressed, and I was like, I was like, she's going into Marshalls and TJ Maxx and all that. You sell on Amazon.
Yes.
And you make six figures.
Yes.
Or maybe even more. I don't know. But yeah. She's like, yes, I make 12 figures.
I know.
Six figure Amazon seller. What do you do mostly on Amazon?
So mainly, I started with doing retail arbitrage, and I just can't get away from it. It's like one of my flaws, but not really. I just love it so much because it's so easy. You're just driving home. You're like, oh, there's that Marshalls again that had this last week. And I just have to. But I do RA, OA, and I dabble in a little bit of wholesale that I want to get into more, but I'm not even like experienced enough to even speak on it. So I just say I'll do RA and OA. And that's what I've been doing now for almost 3 years.
So 3 years, and in 3 years, you've managed to scale up to six figures solely by doing retail arbitrage.
Yes.
Now, what is for those of you that don't know, retail arbitrage on Amazon can be sold one of two ways, generally, Amazon FBA, and then we always say FBM, but just to clear it up, because a lot of people comment and they're like, there's no such thing as FBM. I know that, Billy. I know that, okay? It's merchant fulfilled. But we call it FBM because that's what makes more sense.
Yeah.
What's the percentage of business that you do FBA versus FBM?
I would say FBA, depending on the time of the year, about 70-30. Q4, just switch it, 70 FBM and 30 FBA.
Really? Really? How long do you wait before? And I know this is just hopping into that, but guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. The Boss Podcast is sponsored by Amazon Lit. If you're looking to start an Amazon business or you'd like information on how to start an Amazon business, or maybe you already have an Amazon business and you're looking for guidance, knowledge, or education, you definitely want to check out the guys over at Amazon Lit. I got a link in the description. You can check it out and go ask them whatever you like. There's no obligation, but you can at least ask them and get some knowledge and education. If you've always wanted to start a business, now's the time to do it. There's no better time than now. Amazon Lit, appreciate you guys. Thank you for sponsoring the podcast. And now back to the show. How much do you withhold and do merch fulfill? Because I'll give you my thoughts after. So like, do you send in FBA up to a certain time, or how do you do all Q4 FBM?
Yes and no. Like even so right now, back to school, I've been hoarding backpacks, Nike Elite backpacks. Okay, I give a lot of game here. So Nike Elite backpacks. Okay,
pay attention.
Nike Elite backpacks, gray and black. So I've been hoarding those since probably about November, December of last year, or back to school, to do those FBM in June, July, and August. Really for Q4. I mean, I'm pretty big on like pushing out FBA shipments, but it's not like I'll necessarily stop, but I'm definitely strategic on, no, this needs to get out at this point in time. This needs to be held. Like seasonal items for sure. Anything that's like Christmas specific or holiday specific, I'll FBM those. I'll hold those for sure. But, or like gift sets, I'll hold those for sure. But like clothing or like apparel or different things like that, I'll probably push them out FBA beginning of November.
Okay.
I don't really consider, for me, October as Q4. Really, it's like November, December up until about maybe the 20th. And then kind of just ride in and out through Christmas and New Year's. So
Yeah, I always did FBA, I think all the way up until, if I remember, until like the last week of November, or maybe it was the second week of December. I don't know. But then I would switch to FBM. But the problem is, what I would find is that I wasn't selling a lot of FBM in Q4, and it could have been just my product selection. But I would even send FBM shipments like on December 15th, which I know is super late, because by the time it gets there, so at the time it was taking like almost 10 days.
Yeah.
So like sometimes it wouldn't make it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. And I would have to eat it. And, then I would like adjust and be like, all right, I'm going to send it in on, December 10th.
Yep.
But I always wanted to, because I felt like the FBA, when people were buying it, they were buying it before it was even checked in.
Yeah.
So I was hoping to get those sales because Amazon knew when it was going to be at a certain warehouse.
Yeah.
You said Nike, and I've kind of like hustle stalked, and I say hustle stalked because I was pretty impressed with the social media, like I had said in the beginning. And you do a lot of Nike.
Yes.
You do a lot of like, you go to like outlet stores.
Yeah.
You go to like TJ Maxx and Marshalls. And like, what would you say? So like a lot of people that watch the show, I've never been good at like whiteboard content. So I've never been the type to educate people where I'm like, looking at graphs and, whiteboard type stuff. I've always been like education through entertainment kind of thing.
Yeah.
How do you know what products to buy when you're in these stores? I mean, so essentially when you're selling on Amazon, you're buying products that are either on clearance or not on clearance. You're basically finding it for a price, and then you want to flip it. It's kind of like I used to call it legal drug dealing. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like legal drug dealing. You just like the same premise. You want to buy it. You buy it at a price. You're trying to make a profit. You know what I mean? You got to re-up, all that good stuff.
You got
You got to re-up. You got to re-up. You got to re-up. So, how do you know what products to find? Because some people are like, I don't know, I scan things and I don't know if it's a good product or not.
Yeah. I mean, so really, when I first started, I was only using the Amazon seller app. So, which gives you nothing. Like, literally, it gives you sellers, sales rank, and view offers, who's selling it, and that's it. So, and it's crazy because when I started using one of the apps that gives all the data and everything, seller app, I was like, okay, what have I been buying? What is going on before? Like, what's going on in my inventory prior to this? But I mean, I love the charts, like just data history, price history. I love offers. Like, I love messing with it. Like, Amazon to me is a game. And like, I was a collegiate athlete, so I just look at everything like that. Like, well, how can I win? I'm competitive. So how can I win at this game? And like kind of playing with the numbers and understanding it. Now at this point in time, like I can walk into Nike and know, and I'll walk out. If there's, I'll like look at a rack and I'll be like, yeah, no. Or I'll find one good product and I'll know to stay and kind of circle around. I know the products now by the colors and the SKU of like what for sure to stock up on. But in the beginning, I mean, it's a learning process, as everything is. You have to have the patience. And if you don't, like, it's kind of just a disservice to yourself. But knowing a product to buy, I mean, how many sellers? The sales rank to me is like relative. I'm like not one of those obsessed with sales rank as some people are. But I mean, how many sellers, how many units they have, and then what was it selling at this time last year? And then at this time in Q4, what was this product selling for? That's what I like to look at personally.
So do you use Keepa at all?
Yes, lightly though, because for me, like, I'm not a numbers person. I'm very much like, what does it say here? What does it do here? Okay, fine. And then I'll make like a decision, like to keep reading and going and following a graph. It gets like jumbled for me. Yeah. Kind of like when you're scanning a bunch of stuff and then you're like, oh yeah, this is 20,000 sales rank. No, it's 2 million.
Right.
And your eyes were just crossed.
You start getting blind to the obvious.
And your eyes were just crossed.
Yeah.
But no, I like Keepa. I like the variations, seeing the estimated sales per month. And this the same thing, the history of the product. I think that's huge. So
Yeah. One of the programs we were talking about that has Keep It built in was SellerAmp.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, before when I was here, I actually learned something, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but it's actually kind of cool to say this, that I actually learned something pretty cool that I did not know from your page as I was looking over here.
Okay.
So I use SellerAmp as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to the people that hooked me up with SellerAmp. And I think you were doing, it was either Nike hats, and you'll be able to tell me once I tell you the story, but I knew it told you about variants.
Yes.
But I did not know that it broke down and actually told you what the variant was.
The bestseller.
The bestseller. Mm-hmm. I did not know that. Mm-hmm. I did not know that information was in there. And I was like, huh. I was like, no shit. I need to go to TJ Maxx after this podcast.
Yeah, and just see.
Get some
and
shit
just see.
and just try it out.
Yeah.
So I was just like, it just goes to show that no matter what you do and what you think you might know, there's always something you can learn. And I thought that was huge.
Yeah.
There's so many decisions I based on gambling, right? Especially when you're dealing with shoes or hats that come in multiple colors, right? Shoes with multiple sizes. What sizes sell the best and all that other stuff. So that was pretty clutch. So thank you for sharing that on your social. You share quite a lot.
I do.
You share quite a lot. And, I've been into the Nike outlet stores before.
Yeah.
Back when I lived in Massachusetts, I used to go to the Rentham outlet. They had Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, all that stuff. I never found anything profitable that I could buy. Now this is, we're going back 4 years, 4.5, maybe almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And at the time I was going there because I had just got ungated in Nike and I was like, oh, I'm going to the Nike outlet. Let's go. You know what I mean? But I kept scanning and I'm like, I can't find anything. How do you find, is there a strategy to go into the outlet stores to find these profitable products?
Yes and no. I mean, it's very much stores in different places. So I've sourced a lot of Nikes across the United States. So like California has some of the best Nikes in my opinion. And then of course like Orlando, which has I think it's one of the places with the most Nike clearance stores in the United States. Someone can fact check that, but I think that is true. So with that, they're different. You have to treat a Nike clearance store different from a factory store.
Okay.
So understanding how to source a clearance store and understanding how to source a factory store, because they are different.
School me on the Nike now. I need to be schooled right now. School me. I'm waiting because I didn't even know there was a difference between an outlet, and I thought the outlet store was the factory store.
So the factory store, but they have a clearance store. So the clearance store and factory store are completely different.
Okay.
The clearance store is like essentially the lowest of the lowest. They'll have those products. So like Nike Pros, $9.99 at your clearance store always when you see them. That's where I get the Nike Pros. Sometimes though, they'll have them at factory stores. They'll have them at factory stores and they'll be like the extra 20, 30% off. Sometimes 40 if you're lucky, but they've been stingy lately, Nike.
Do they limit you?
Okay. Okay.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I know when you had said they were stingy, I just thought it was an appropriate time to insert.
Stingy.
Do they limit you?
So here's the thing with Nike. Yes, they do. They do have a universal rule of 5 units per same SKU.
Okay.
But when you are female and the workers do not think that you're a reseller, you can get away with like maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 units.
Kill them with kindness.
Kill them with the smile. Ask Joshua how his day's going. No, but I mean, yes, they do. So yes, they do. They do have a general rule of 5 units per SKU.
Okay.
But I mean, you just go in an hour later with a hat on, or you just go like, you do.
Like a Mr. Magoo, right?
Yeah.
Hey, let me put on my...
this is like real life. So like I said, like Amazon and everything about it is a game. So you just have to learn the game and play it right. But clearance, factory, different. And like, you'll find it's different in every place. So I personally like the clearance stores in Orlando the best versus the factory. I won't really walk into the factories in Orlando that much. However, down here in like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, I'll pretty much do both. For me, like Sawgrass factory and the clearance store in Dania Beach kind of like go head and head.
So there's a clearance store in Dania Beach, but a factory store in
Sawgrass and in Pembroke Pines and in Dolphin Mall and in West Palm Beach.
Okay, all right. You got Nike on lock. Hey, I'm just saying. Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, and it takes time for sure to understand your stores. But once you do, I mean, like I always joke now, it takes me longer just to drive to the Nike store than I am in it. I'll just go kids, men's, shoes, women's, and I'm gone.
You got your map out. You map it out. You've been doing it for a while now. You know exactly what products to look, names, sizes, colors.
Yeah.
Boom, like you got it down pat.
Yeah. Like sometimes I'll just walk in and I'll be like, okay, where's the Nike Pro band, waistband? Where are they at? And if I don't see them, I'm out.
So they sell $9.99, you said earlier.
$9.99 Nike Pros, women Nike Pros, $9.99 at your clearance store.
What are they selling for on Amazon?
Anywhere from like $37 to $44.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like you say in some of your reels there, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy. Anybody could do this.
Anybody.
Now, speaking of doing this and getting involved with Amazon, we hopped right into numbers. We hopped right into all this information. I mean, just in the first 15 minutes, I've learned something, and I know you all have learned something. Unbelievable. But prior to Amazon and selling on Amazon, right? Prior to the is it safe to say the FindItFlipIt brand? That's your brand, right? So before the brand, before Amazon FBA, what were you doing before this?
So before this, I was a collegiate athlete. I played volleyball in college. I played at USC Aiken. I played Division II. I was a libero. So the short girls that wear the other color jersey, essentially, if you don't know the term libero. So I studied exercise and sports science in college. And like ever since I was little, I was like, no, I want to open up my own gym. Like I always had like an entrepreneurial spirit for sure. But I always thought it would be like my own gym. I'm a COVID graduate, so I graduated college in 2020. I never had a graduation, really. So with that, I mean, that was tough because we were all like, okay,
so hard
school's done in March and everything's closed, so now what? That was tough. So after that, I have a broken back, so I have pars defect. I have a bilateral stress fracture in the bottom of my spine. And I developed that. They said it was chronic, but I found out about it my junior year, going into senior year. And essentially they wanted me to be put in a back brace, but I said no because just a whole bunch of stuff. Like it should have been found way sooner than it was, but whatever, that's Division II funding. Go NCAA. Anyway, so from there, I found out that I had pars defect, and at Division II, you're obviously you don't have a lot of funds. We didn't really have strength and conditioning.
Okay.
It could have been from misuse of squatting, whatever. Like no one was watching us. Like we were just squatting and maxing, and we racked it. So with that, it was kind of like, well, I obviously don't know or don't even have enough funds to open up my own gym right now. It's COVID. No one's going to a gym right now. So what do I do? So once you're an NCAA athlete, you do have access to NCAA Marketplace, which kind of helps people find jobs, essentially, or like internships, different things like that. From there, I applied for a bunch of strength and conditioning internships, and I got one at the University of Georgia. So I was at the University of Georgia for about a year and a half as first an unpaid internship, and then I was hired. And then cross country was my main team who I programmed for, and then I assisted with all teams. From there, I got a full-time job at USC Upstate in Spartanburg, South Carolina. If you know anything about college athletics, essentially, you are working, which I was at Georgia from about 4:45 in the morning until about 7:30 at night.
It's a long day.
And then you get paid nothing. You don't have a life. Like I was
literally nothing, or just like crumbs.
Like my salary, I think at Georgia was maybe like 22,
So like
21, if that. Then when I got the full-time job at USC Upstate, I mean, it was still under 30. Like I was struggling. And like with college athletics, once you get a job in athletics, you have about 48 hours to get there for the most part. Upstate was a little bit more lenient, but for the most part, I mean, you get a new job and you're gone. So I was like, okay, well, I have to find a random rent. I have to live on my own, which is obviously more money. With that, I had to DoorDash to pay utilities. I love DoorDash. I recommend it to everybody. Like, go DoorDash, go Uber. Like, I
did DoorDash when I had to raise capital.
You make a crap ton.
I had to raise capital, and I didn't want to go into debt by charging up credit cards or using money in my savings.
Yeah.
So I drove Uber Eats and I did DoorDash.
I love it.
Which is why I have 2 phones still to this day.
I love it. I love it. So I was doing that and then picking up, like, if I would do volleyball lessons or something just to, like, really make ends meet. I developed then a health condition. Right when I got to USC Upstate, and I was just in and out of the hospital. I was flying back and forth down here because my sister's a nurse. So it would be easier for me to get in to get stuff figured out.
Sure.
So I would fly back and forth. From there, like due to the condition, I had to take a health leave just because I physically could not do the job anymore. And during this time is when I was introduced to Amazon and essentially started that. And then I just didn't look back. I had to take the health leave, and I was like, well, you can't catch me looking on LinkedIn for another job, so might as well make this. Might as well
you won't catch me on Indeed.com or LinkedIn.
Catch me on
no,
there.
thank you.
No.
Yeah.
So, and then here we are. And then I was doing that, and then I just started FindItFlipIt, just documenting it, making content, because I love the content aspect of everything. So I just started that in August, content.
And then on Amazon, you found that you had to, or that you wanted to, at least you expressed some interest in it because you couldn't do the other job anymore. And then what made you, were you watching anybody on YouTube? Like, for instance, I think all of us, at least everybody that I've said, have said, oh, I started watching, Reezy Resells and some of the OGs that were doing it 10, 13 years.
Oh, yeah.
Books and stuff. What got you interested? So you were like, I can't do this anymore. I want to try Amazon. Like, what made you, like, what was the spark that was like, and what was the first thing you sold?
Well, the spark was my boyfriend was a really big sneaker reseller.
Okay.
So him right there was a really big sneaker reseller.
Shout out Mr. Boyfriend Sneaker Seller over there on the couch. We got the guy on the couch over there.
So he was a really big sneaker reseller, and I would obviously see him doing that. And I was like, wait, these dunks are like $90 and you're doing what with them? And like meeting up with people, selling them out of your trunk. Like, okay, this is interesting. And obviously he knew my struggles and everything. And it was like, Rebecca, just try this. Like, this is just the new thing, like Amazon, just try it. And yeah. And then that was like the spark. And of course he knew way more about reselling than me. So that was who kind of helped in a way. Of course, like I was watching any type of video, which back then there really wasn't like much being documented.
Right.
So any type of video that there was, of course, Reezy, anyone really on YouTube, but like when you first start, you get confused with the drop shipping and the this and the that. So it's like all just jumbled together, I feel like. So it was kind of hard to even, for me to understand it on a content perspective, because people just pull from all different directions and you're like, I don't know, like where do I start? So it was really great that I had him to guide me in different directions. But I mean, being in South Carolina where I was, so Spartanburg's like right at the top. I was bordering North Carolina. So Charlotte was like not even 40 minutes. There are so many liquidation places in South Carolina, North Carolina. And that was like my saving grace for sure. I mean, we were doing pallets of pads and then we would get it picked up at my apartment. The Amazon truck came to my apartment complex and picked up 3, I think, pallets of pads that we labeled and put together.
Like when you say pads,
like period pads,
like always.
Yeah.
Stay free.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Period
Stay free or stay clear, right? I just want to
pads.
make sure, because sometimes when people say pads, sometimes they're like pee pads.
Nope.
Well, for like dogs.
Period
stuff.
pads.
Period pads. Okay. All right. Time of the month pads.
Period pads. Time of the month. Get them on Amazon. Just kidding.
But they were on liquidation.
Liquidation. Oh yeah.
Did you have a lot of capital to start out with? Like, for instance, like just to give you a little bit of something about me, like I was in banking for 12 years, managing banking centers in Boston.
Yeah.
I started selling books. I started with $8 because I went to give the guy a $20 bill. I've said this all over my YouTube. I gave him $20. He gave me back $12 because I only bought a couple of 50-cent books. Sold them. That $8 turned into $50. $50 turned into $140. Blah 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 blah.
Yep.
Blah. Right. So I started with $8. Did you have capital to start with, or you didn't have a lot of capital to start with?
I started with 200.
Okay, that's still amazing.
So like for me, like I couldn't afford a label printer or anything like that. I mean, thank God, like UPS gives you the free labels. But I was printing labels at work. I mean, I would just use work and print the labels. So they were like on the 8x11. I'm like smacking them on.
Yep. Man, it was painful. I remember before I knew about the whole UPS and post office stuff, I remember printing them out on 8x11 sheets of paper, and you had to rip them because you had the Amazon, the FBA on one, and you had the actual shipping label on the other.
Yeah.
And you had to waste the tape to put that shit on.
Oh
and
my
it was
gosh,
like, that was painful. And when I discovered thermal self-stick labels, I was like, oh my God. I got a Dymo, which everybody complains about. Have you ever worked with Dymo before? Mm-mm. Everybody complains and says it gets jammed. It's never got jammed on me once. I use a Zebra now. So I think it's the same thing as you. The 2 1/4 by 1, 2.25 by 1. the printer's awesome.
Yeah.
But I find that it doesn't select my label size sometimes. I don't know. It's weird. But anyways, but you started with $200 and you started with liquidation.
No, I started at Marshall's with random beauty products. But back then as well, like it only took me maybe like 4 or 8 hours to get ungated for Nike. So, I mean, that was East Bay and that was 1, 2, 3
East
and
Bay.
that was it.
Yep, East Bay.
That was it. So, and like being where I was in South Carolina, I mean, there was a factory store in Gaffney, which like, it's like fields and like cows, and they're not going to the factory store. So that was that's one of the best factory stores, in the Nike factory store in Gaffney, and that Adidas outlet in Gaffney is one of my favorite ones. But then I started looking around at like liquidation, and they had so many, and I became pretty close with the owners of one of the liquidation places, and I would just get backdoor deals. They would be like, we got this in and you want it? And I would come in literally through the back, look at the pallet, make a deal, and be on my way.
Have you ever sourced at not Marshall's, Walmart or Target?
Target, yes. Walmart, no. I think for me, like the jumble, like that's why, like I always say, like I won't walk into a Kohl's too much, just too much search and like everything else. Like I could walk in and out of 5 Nike stores and be fine. But like the jumbled stuff. But I have been hearing like Walmart, you can find some pretty good stuff. So I actually want to check out a Walmart. But Target, yes. Walmart, no.
Walmart is definitely not how it used to be.
Yeah.
That used to be my thing. I'd go into 10 Walmarts a day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
7 days a week. It was very mentally draining.
Yeah.
But the clearance was, we used to call it double card gang. We'd walk out with 2 cards. We'd call it double card, triple card gang, full card gang if we filled our card up. It was a really good time on some of the lives in the past videos that we did with Retail Arbitrage. You could have fun with it. And I think that's one of the benefits about Retail Arbitrage, creating content around it. You can have so much fun. How do you think it's like relatable? Like, do you do any OA?
Yes.
So what do you prefer? Do you prefer doing Retail Arbitrage, creating content around that, or do you prefer doing OA and not really do you do content around OA? Because I've always said nobody likes to see somebody click numbers on the keyboard and be like, okay, like again, it's me just going back to like the whiteboard.
Yeah, that's
thing.
the problem. No, like I feel like people don't grasp it enough because they're not understanding what to look at. But like with you in a store and with you sourcing and with you with bags, like that's super engaging. But for me, I mean, it's all regardless. It's like I said, like I can't get away from RA. Like mine is like it's genuine videos of me. Like, yeah, just get it now. I'm getting out. Just I need this clip anyway. Just get a clip. But no, like I just think too, people just don't people don't understand Amazon at all. And I think the RA really shows like the base of Amazon and really what it is. Like, yeah, you could buy a Nike shirt, but it's coming from my living room or your garage or,
right.
And I feel like nobody really knows that at all.
Right. Because Amazon's such a huge conglomerate and they've developed such a trust.
Yeah.
With the consumer.
Oh, yeah.
That they don't realize that, they're selling this product and when somebody clicks add to cart, it's really just selecting from one of the maybe 25 sellers that are on there and whoever's either geographically closer or providing the best value. Nobody really knows who gets the buy box, but I did a test on that, which is funny. But yeah, people trust Amazon all the time. But nobody can understand how can you buy this? Why wouldn't they just go to Marshall's and buy that for $6? Why would they buy it for $35?
Because they get it tomorrow.
And they don't know it's there for $6.
You actually want to hear something crazy? It just happened today. So one of my students, I do Zoom calls, it's one-on-one with my students, and they got like a counterfeit claim on a product, but it was an FBM product. And the lady goes in how you could say the return reason, and she was just like, item not as described or whatever. And then she said, why? And she was like, item came from somebody's home. It didn't even come from Amazon. This is not authentic. Wait, it gets better. Her literal name, Karen.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This came from somebody's home, not from Amazon.
Isn't that crazy? And
that is crazy.
It was FBM order. And I was like, and like me and my student, I was like, you cannot, like, and I say this all the time. I'm like, you can't make this up. Like, literally, that was the reason she returned it. She was like, no, it came from somebody's house. It can't be real.
Oh my God. So they must have at least removed it, right? They took care of it?
Well, yeah, we were in the process of like working on it, but yeah, I mean, it was
Oh, right,
literally,
because it happened today.
It happened today. Yeah, literally today. And she was like, yeah, it came from somebody's house. Can't be real.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, besides selling on Amazon, I saw at the conference, was that you that set up the table with the app there, with the software? I think it's called Nepeto?
Yeah, they were there. That's not mine.
That wasn't you, though.
No, that's not mine.
Okay. But you use it.
I do.
I've never heard of it before. What?
Me neither.
Until
MSC.
Do you want to just talk a little bit about it? Because I've never heard about it. I was trying to like look at it real quick before I came here, and it looks like a almost like a sourcing. It'll tell you like what's at a certain price at one store and what it's selling for on Amazon, kind of thing, like a tactical arbitrage almost.
I mean, it pretty much like you can filter it to your highest, like maximum BSR, maximum minimum ROI, maximum price, all of your metrics, so you're not wasting time. I guess like OA it's pretty tedious for sure. So I mean, even just having something like that in the background is really exciting. But it essentially, it gives you the Amazon listing, the exact place to purchase it, the ASIN, the buy price, what it's selling for, your ROI, profit after like Amazon fees. And I mean, you could just click the link and buy it right there, which is really cool. So
that's interesting. I tried using it was called the tactical arbitrage. It would scrub certain sites. Have you heard of tactical arbitrage? Yeah. But I would find that it would always come up like it would say, a can of WD-40, but it would match with like a 4-pack or a 3-pack or something like that. Do you find like when you're sourcing on the computer using software, maybe you're not using Nepeto, maybe you're using something else.
Yeah.
Do you find that a lot of times you're finding mismatched products and it's kind of like creating more work for you? Yes
and no. But that's like another thing on that website is like you can, they have a mismatch button and you can hit it like if it is a mismatch, so then they can look at it again or so nobody else could see it. But I feel like, I mean, that happens in a lot of people's Discords too, as to why like people, like a lot of Discords are a waste of time because someone, whatever, will place a lead, but the lead will be for a 10-pack and like they're giving you this, that doesn't match this, and it's crazy. And like, I feel like that's just kind of also the name of the game of Amazon, because not like the listings are so weird. Like Amazon listings are weird, and it's like the ASINs are weird, and like so really having to match it up. There of course there's always going to be some type of mistake, in my opinion. But yeah.
Have you ever gotten into what are your thoughts on like private label? Have you ever thought about getting into private label? No. Yeah, I've always kind of stayed away from it. I've tried sourcing on Alibaba one time. When they had the the Arctic Airs when they first came out, the first original ones. Yeah. Well, I was like, it said on the box in Walmart, it said made in China. So I'm like, let me check Alibaba. So I went to Alibaba. I saw it. It was the perfect match. It said Arctic Air. The packaging was identical. It was the product. I messaged them first. I said, hey, is this product exactly as pictured in your pictures? Yeah. And I said spelling, like crisp, everything's like, this is the product. They're like, oh yeah, everything's the same thing, right? And my biggest mistake was not buying a test buy, because I didn't want to pay. I ended up getting them for $12 a piece, and I was going to sell them for 50 something a piece. But to get the test buy, they wanted you to pay $15 for the test, but the shipping was like, it was something stupid, like $40, $50. So I was going to pay like $70 to have this one item. And I'm like, if I don't want to buy it, then I've just wasted that money. Yeah. And it's like, I won't even make it back even if I sell it. And I know that's the cost of doing business. Like when you go to get engaging, you're going to lose money and all that other stuff. Yeah. So I ended up not getting a test buy. I ended up ordering 50 units because I'm like, I'm not going to order 500 units because this is my first time ordering. It said trusted seller. Everything was there, right? I get the boxes into my driveway. I open the boxes up, and if I have time, I'll put like a picture here or over here or somewhere. The packaging was like a little blurred, it wasn't sharp, and the spelling, it didn't say Arctic, it said like Arctic, or it says like it was the T was an I, or the I was a T with no underneath. and the air, and that's what it was the I, because the I didn't have the bottom line. It said ATR. Yeah. And I'm like, you gotta be shitting me, right? So I messaged them, no help. Nope, he's a trusted seller. It's not counterfeit, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I have 50 units sitting in my drive. They're in my storage unit because
You still have them.
I'm still sour. I don't want to throw them out because I feel like I'm salted. I got screwed out of the money. I am not willing to let it go, man. I am not willing to let that go. So they are in boxes sitting in my storage unit, one of my storage units. And I actually sold a couple of them. And I sold them on Macari.
Okay.
But it's clear in the title. It says, not original, see descript. And in the description, it says, these are an off-brand, not the original Arctic Air brand. And I show pictures of the actual item. And I've actually sold a couple of them for like 10, 15 bucks, whatever. But, nobody really buys it unless, I don't know. And I don't know. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't even know why any of you would buy it. I should probably just throw them out. I should probably just take them and throw them in the fucking trash because that's what they are. They are trash. So that was my experience with not necessarily private label, but just kind of trying to like, I guess, buy cheap, spending $500 to $700 and trying to make that like $1,500 or something. I never bought from them again. I never bought from Alibaba again. I was so salted. Like I said, I still got I'm still salted. I'm sad. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like depressed now because I can't believe I got screwed out of that freaking product. Oh my God. Have you ever messed with Alibaba? Have you ever like tried to do like any of these websites to try to sell on Amazon? Because I've even thought about ordering from TikTok Shop and pushing it on Amazon. Because I've seen the same products, but I know it's coming from China. Like I bought a couple of things. Like I bought wireless lavalier microphones, $6. They're amazing.
Really?
They plug right into my phone. I could shoot the video, right? It plugs right in. 2 wireless mics. It comes with I call it rabbit's feet still. I don't know what the hell the professional term is for the furry thing on top of the mic, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Rabbit's feet.
I call it rabbit's foot. Like I'm like old back hippie bullshit, okay? That's what it is on top of the mic. And it comes with like these condensers too, but diffuser, what do you call these things? Like condenser? Filter, yeah. Wind filter, diffuser, condenser. Windscreen, okay, yeah. It comes with 2 of those. The point is, $6, I thought I was going to get screwed like Arctic Air.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, TikTok Shop. Shit's coming from China. It's going to come from over there.
Yeah.
It's the most amazing product ever.
Really?
The good news is I bought that for $6 free shipping, and it's selling on Amazon for $29.99.
Don't tell me that.
So I started thinking to myself, I'm like...
Did you buy a bunch?
No, not yet. I just got it in the other day. I just tested it. But then I started thinking, I'm like, I want to test it to make sure it works good.
Yeah.
It comes with the USB-C cable. You charge everything. I tried it out on the phone. I recorded some videos with it. It's awesome. So I'm like, man. But see, the $6 deal was one of those, you see those live people and they're like, hey guys, the TikTok Shop right now, it's only $6. But I actually went back to the TikTok Shop because I have an account now with TikTok Shop to do stuff like that. So I have access to the marketplace and they still have it for $5.99. So I'm like, do I buy like 10 of them just to see?
Just to see. It's
literally the same product. It's the same. I'm looking at it. I'm staring at it. I'm like, this has to be the same because there's no barcode on it. I'm going to put my own effing SKU on it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want it to, and it comes sealed just like a normal package. And I'm like, this could be something. Point I'm trying to make is TikTok Shop, I've already ordered 3 things off there.
Really?
Yeah, and they've all come really good. I ordered a 12-pack of Ghost Energy. Have you seen that drink?
Yes.
Love Ghost Energy. Shout out Ghost Energy. I need some Ghost Energy. I would love, instead of having this no-name water here, this H2O, I'd love to just put like some Ghost Energy here. We might be reaching out to you. I really like Ghost Energy. But I bought a 12-pack. It came for $10. That same 10-pack is selling for $45.99 on Amazon. It comes sealed in the case, right? I bought meal prep for my wife because she's always talking about needing like meal prep things. I bought 2 12-packs for $1.99 each, all with free shipping. Those 12 meal preps go for like 20-something. I got it for $2. So, moral of the story here is I might dabble in, and TikTok Shop might be a way to source. It's not like when I thought of TikTok Shop, I thought of this is on some like Wish bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm gonna start seeing memes about it, like, you know what it said I was gonna get versus what I actually got. You know what I mean? But no, so far all 3, between electronics, meal prep, and actual like consumable, I'm impressed. I'm shocked.
See, I need to buy something because
Not even $15 I didn't spend for all of it. It's
I
crazy.
always see it. I don't.
You're skeptical.
I'm skeptical.
Because you're like, this is some Wish bullshit.
Yeah, like
it's not.
Why
I'm telling
is
you,
it
it's
so
good.
cheap? That's how I'm like, why is it so cheap? That top's too cute to be that cheap. So no, but now
Now I don't know about the clothing.
I'm confident.
I don't know about the
I'm gonna place an
clothing.
order.
But definitely consumables or like electronics. I know you do a lot of content. You might even already have a wireless mic, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
Something I definitely needed and I was lacking. I mean, this has a shotgun mic anyways. It's cool. Speaking of content, do you find a lot of time? Do you put a lot of energy and time into creating content?
Yes.
So you have Amazon and then content creation.
Yes.
What is the platform you most likely use? I think I know, but
I love Instagram. I love Instagram. Oh my gosh. I don't know why. I think it's just like, I've just always loved Instagram, even like when I would just post my own like personal stuff. And I don't know, I just love it. But yeah, Instagram, YouTube on the up.
you have YouTube? FindItFlipIt?
FindItFlipIt.
Okay. We'll have to check that out. You do sourcing videos? Or
Like
are they right
long-
now you're doing shorts? You're
just
doing
shorts right now.
Just shorts, no long form.
Long form is getting scripted.
Okay.
In the scripting phase.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because you just said something that I've never done. I've never scripted an outing. I've always done things on the fly
For YouTube.
for YouTube. Yeah. So like I used to create content and release one video a day. I was going out so much that Monday through Friday, they had a new upload in a new store. And my videos sometimes were pushed back maybe 3 to 5 days, maybe. Like I didn't even wait weeks. And I would just go in and it was just my phone and I would just record what I was doing. And I would hold the phone out like this if I was talking and I would hit flip the camera and show what I was doing. And then Saturday was a Q&A and Sunday was a live in Walmart. So 7 days a week, there was a piece of content going out long form on YouTube. You said you must be a perfectionist. Like you don't want to release something unless it's like perfect.
Yes and no. I don't want to release something if it's not like doesn't have my stamp of approval. Like so there was a saying in strength and conditioning where it was like the athlete doesn't care until they know you care. And so that's what I definitely put into my videos is the care behind it of knowing like, can I make this even more genuine than it is? Like, can I do something where like I make some type of mistake throughout my day and add it in there because I still am a human, like, or whatever it is, right? For people for people to relate. So yes and no. The YouTube long form is like, because I am very transparent, but there's only so little I could put into an Instagram reel. That's kind of why I'm doing the transition, because people ask so many questions and I want to be able to guide them in a correct direction. But no, now you got my like wheels turning up, just like holding up my phone in a Nike store and then just being like, hey, I mean, I'm already doing it now. So pretty much.
One of the things that I used to do, and I'm not always right, perfect or anything. I just do things the way I think that I should do them. Right.
Yeah.
Like, and you have your way, they have their way, he has his way, whatever. Mm-hmm. I never went in with like a selfie stick or a gimbal. Like I always just straight up held my phone, 2 fingers like that, and it got heavy and it sucked sometimes.
Yeah.
But the reason why I held it like this is because if somebody was coming, I could just go like this, and it was like I was like watching a video or something, because I would stay like under the radar.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of stores, they're like, oh, you filming in here, you can't film, and I never wanted to deal with that drama. And luckily, after 5, 6, 7 years, I never had any issues with recording in stores. And I think because I didn't go in with this loud setup and, selfie stick or anything like that. So I think part of being like authentic, and not necessarily authentic, but I think like in the moment kind of thing, is just showing people like, look, I'm just walking in this store. I got my phone. I just want to show you the goods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just want to show you the goods. But I'll tell you this, if your long form is anything like your short form, it's going to be fire.
Thank you.
It's going to be fire. I was telling you at the beginning of the show, I've just never come across, and ladies, don't take offense to this, because I know a lot of female Amazon sellers out there, but I've never seen a female hustle like yours, where you go into the stores, you're showing the products, you're showing the fees, the prices, what you're buying, how you are, quote, paying rent, right? Like, that's so clever, by the way. This is how I paid my rent this month. I bought these friggin' baby hats, these bucket hats. Like, a lot of people are afraid to even put the camera on, never mind themselves be on the camera, and never mind show what they're selling, because for some reason people out there think that if I show this 1, 2, 5, 10 products, my business is completely over.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy, because how many products does Amazon sell?
Literally.
Millions upon millions, tens of millions, maybe
And
even
how
hundreds
many
of
like
millions.
TJ Maxx's and Marshalls are there in the United States? Do we maybe have some of the same products? Honestly, for the people that watch my video, I hope so. Because here, just go in and do
Right.
it.
Go
but
make money.
But like, do you probably have the same stuff? Probably not. Or if you do, maybe you only have 1 unit and I have 8, or like whatever it is, right? Or maybe you have black and I have blue.
Right.
But like, at least it gets like somebody's wheels turning. And that's why I'm like, if I can impact one person or help one person, right? Because I know what it feels like to be like, oh my God, like, I don't want to go to work. I'm not making enough money, or I have to do this after. Like, I know what it's like to like not be happy, and like, there's no reason to ever not be happy. And if it's like, I could kind of just like wake somebody up and be like, oh, but I could just make money at Marshall's. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best feelings that I would ever get is I would see a lot of the people that would watch my content in Walmart, and they come up to you.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if you get recognized outside. You must.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get recognized out there, and people are like, hey, I know you from Instagram, or hey, I saw you on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, right? And it's like they tell you sometimes their story, and it's like, man, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have started. That one product you showed me helped me get started, right? So not all the products that I show, but that one product was able to help this person run his 6-figure business.
Yeah.
Because he saw sometimes people just need a little help, a little push, and there's nothing wrong with that, So I think that's fabulous. That's great, because I feel the same way. And apparently our viewers have reflected that as well when they see us. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it's cool when people come up to me, but it's like I always think in the back of my head, I'm like, damn, everybody knows, or people know what I look like, but I have no idea what anybody looks like. So it's like sometimes I was with my family, I'm with my wife and 2 kids, and we're in the mall, and somebody's like, hey, I saw you on YouTube, or I was in Goodwill the other day, and somebody came up to me and they were like, hey, you make videos on YouTube, right? And I'm like, yeah. Like, oh my God, my husband Patrick, he loves you, he watches you all the time.
But it's amazing.
It's crazy. Like, how many lives you actually impact, and then you have trolls on there, right?
They make it even better. They make it even better.
They make the content even better because
they get us the views.
Engagement.
The haters get us the views.
We love haters. They say haters. You guys are the best marketers.
The haters give us the views.
It's the best marketing team to have is a group of haters. The more haters, Cat Williams said it the best. If you only have 5 haters, you got to get to 10 before the weekend. What are you doing? Like,
you're not doing it right.
You're not doing it. You need haters. Okay. Oh my God, it's so true. You also provide, like, speaking of people and helping and stuff like that, you provide mentorship.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that. I saw you have like a Discord.
Yes.
You have some other items I can't think of off the top of my head, but run through a little bit of what you offer to like even coach and help people even more than just your content.
I offer, like, for me, it's a one-on-one mentorship. So I'm with somebody for either 8 to 10 weeks of essentially holding their hand from just
8 to 10 weeks.
One-on-one on a Zoom.
Wow.
I'm very like I'm visual, so you could be texting me a question and I'll be like, send me a picture. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Just show me it. So with that too, though, like, and I mean, I'm very like open, and I feel like once you know me, I'm pretty warm. Like, I might have an RBF, like nobody's business, but I mean, once you know me,
I don't get that vibe. I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I mentioned, I didn't get that vibe at all. Just no.
So, but I just feel like that's how people learn best, and it's something different. Like, everyone's like, here, watch this PowerPoint and do this, and I'm like, yeah, but like that gets boring. That gets old. Like, you need somebody to hold you accountable to be successful at something. And so for me, yes, I do offer a one-on-one mentorship where I help people from the ground up. It is tailored to beginners, but I've helped anyone on their Amazon seller journey, no matter where they're at, because you'd be surprised. Like, I have a lot of students that are like, yeah, I opened my account last June. I never sold a thing. And I'm like, no way.
Right. Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Do you do any eBay or any other marketplaces? Or
Mercari. I love Mercari.
I love Mercari too. I was just talking to my last guest, Richie Frioli, a good friend of mine from back in Boston. He lives in Fort Lauderdale now. We were just talking about Mercari and like the ease of it and how easy and simple and straightforward, and now no selling fees for the seller, right? Than eBay, right? They take the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
So I like Mercari too. I'm a fan of Mercari. Do you do you do big numbers on Mercari, or is it kind of just like
it's like
things you can't sell on Amazon kind of thing, or returns,
or like things where I'm like going through my closet again because I'm in one of those moods of like I need a purge, and then you have my 8th grade homecoming dress that's literally on my Mercari.
She said 8th grade homecoming.
It's literally on my Mercari right now. But yeah. So no, I love Mercari.
Have you ever sold on Poshmark? If you sell clothing and like home stuff, I heard Poshmark was really good for.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I've listed on Poshmark. I've listed on eBay. But like I don't know. Mercari and I, we just vibe. We vibe, me and Mercari.
Yeah, I like Mercari, man. Mercari could change a couple things. I got into it last episode. I won't even really get into too much this episode, but like the control over the pricing when you want to promote.
Yeah.
And you can't lower it. Oh, you can't lower it to this price.
Correct.
It has to be this dollar, or you can't.
It has to be 1 cent lower.
Yeah, it's like it's a little it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Tomato.
What's the future looking like for Find It Flipping? Like Find It Flip It. Are you looking to sell on Amazon for the long term, or are you looking to use Amazon? For instance, I look at Amazon as a bridge to go into. I'd like to open up a brick and mortar like comic and collectible store. That's like what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, what's in the future for you with Amazon?
Amazon, and I mean, I say it to so many people. Like, if you want to learn business, sell on Amazon. Like, it has opened my eyes so much, and I feel like right, I live in a delusion, and I'm self-aware. Okay. But like, I feel like I could just run the world with a business. Like, it teaches you so much real life instances of at a smaller scale, right? You don't have like some of us have a warehouse, sure. But for the most part, when you're first starting out, like you don't have any of those crazy expenses that you like necessarily have to worry about, but you're understanding how to run a business at a smaller scale on your own, going out, finding the inventory, understanding how to prep, understanding profit, ROI, like understanding all these different terms and like what really matters in life. And like, that's what was really cool about Amazon to me. For me with Amazon future wise, I mean, I'll ride the wave until they kick me off. Like, I'm still going strong on it. I love it. Like I said, wholesale is definitely something that I want to get more experience in, and like at least even if I hate it, I want to at least be like, okay, well I definitely tried it at a legitimate level to get a firm opinion on it.
Have you tried to connect with distributors to get accounts to purchase wholesale? Or
yeah, I mean, I went to ASD last year, and I mean, it was a great experience.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. Like it's so like you really have to have that. That's kind of like the running joke is I went to ASD 2 weeks later. I started FindItFlipIt, and there it went. Like ASD, all my ASD pamphlets just like went out the door. But It was a great experience, and I mean, but it's something that you definitely have to sit and be like, okay, I'm doing it, because now you're talking about units and minimum purchase orders of like 3,500. And
do you find that's a roadblock for minimum purchases when you want to start out in wholesale?
I think the roadblock for a lot of people is the capital. I mean, a minimum purchase order for the most part, you got to drop like $3-4 grand. I
got a guy in Connecticut that has no minimum purchase. A friend of mine.
Oh, really?
And he does Amazon wholesale, FBA.
Yeah.
He did $4 million. I actually had him on the podcast on the episode. You can check him out. He's on my website now. We did a virtual because he's in Connecticut. Shout out to Mike. But he runs a wholesale business. All he does is wholesale. He did $4 million last year.
Amazing.
And this year he's doing crazy numbers, and he actually decided instead of him just doing wholesale himself, he's actually teamed up with some distributors to sell wholesale to Amazon sellers specifically.
Cool.
So he can send you a catalog and all that stuff.
Cool.
And there's no minimum order, none of that stuff. So he's actually, a couple of people actually saw the podcast and they contacted him. He let me know. He was like, hey, I had somebody, here, blah, blah, blah. And I hooked him up with X, Y, and Z, extra just because they came from your podcast. So I'll give him a heads up if, I can give you his information.
Yes, please. Yeah.
You can just see what he has. And if it works, he does a lot of like beauty products and stuff like that. He bought like 40,000 nail polish and, all that stuff. So he's a good dude. He's a really, really good dude. I actually met him were you at the Reezy Resells in Brooklyn a couple years ago? At the meetup? No. There was a meetup there, and that's where I met him. I actually saw Romer. That's where I met Romer for the first time. A lot of those guys in person for the first time. But wholesale is a different animal.
Yeah.
I always said that I kind of wanted to get into it, but I don't know. I want to get into it, but now I'm
scary.
Like,
I can't like describe it. Like it's like, and I think that's where like the RA in us, we're like, oh, I don't know, because like I could just go to Nike and I'll be okay.
Right. I get 70% profit, 70% profit or, 15% profit. Oh my God. I mean, I never wanted like the big warehouse or the 100 employees. It kind of wasn't the way that I personally wanted to go. But Amazon is definitely, I agree with you. If anybody wants to learn about business, do Amazon because you're gonna make so many mistakes. Yeah. But with those mistakes, you're gonna learn so much. And not even directly related with Amazon. Like you're gonna learn about taxes real quick.
And you learn about yourself.
Exactly.
Like you learn about yourself. Like I didn't realize how little patience I had. I mean, my parents could probably tell you otherwise, but still, like I didn't realize how little patience I had with like anything, with like even customer support or just explaining your issues and like people skills, like just having to even prep a product. Like if you told me like 5 years ago, no, Rebecca, you'd be shoving baby socks into a poly bag, I'd be like, what?
The way you put that was so eloquent.
What?
Shoving baby socks into a poly bag. You said customer service. I can remember like when you shared what a customer said in that whatever about the counterfeit thing. Yeah. And I would get comments, and I found myself getting almost angry. Like what are you talking about? And I would like shoot back snarky, and I'd be like, no, I shouldn't do that. Yeah. I shouldn't do that, right? So now I'm totally patient. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Honestly, I just click no response needed, and I just kind of move on.
Yeah. Well, it definitely teaches you like perseverance, if anything, as well. But I think that's where like just the competitive side and the athlete in me comes out for sure. It's because I'm just like, no. Like people are like, Rebecca, you could just acknowledge it. And I'm like, no, I did nothing wrong. Like I did nothing wrong, or whatever it is. Like whatever the occasion is, I'm like, no, like I'm going to win this. So
if you deal with big brands,
yeah,
you must deal with a lot of IP complaints.
Yes and no, because to not get an IP complaint, you just have to see if the brand's selling it themselves. If they are, just don't hop on it. There's no reason for you to be on it. Sometimes though, because Amazon just loves their sellers so much, we don't. Amazon will still let you sell the brand, even though you're really not supposed to. AKA Vans Vans literally tried to sue me. So because I didn't know, Vans wasn't on it. There was like 20 other sellers. I found some shoelaces at Zoomies for like $3.99, reselling on Amazon for like $21. Bought like 18 of them. Immediately hit the warehouse. This was in last July. Immediately hit the warehouse. Like it was like, oh, receiving email from Vans. And I was like, what? Nobody even scanned this in yet. How do you know?
I've always gotten letters from brand protection.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever.
Like a Karen in their basement.
I just throw them out. I never paid attention. People, when I went to the first seller conference, I spoke at the very first seller conference that they had, and Roma would tell me that somebody came up to them after I spoke and was like, "Who is that guy? Why is he telling people to like fuck like IP complaints? Like, why is he saying that?"
BS.
And I'm like, because that's what do you want me to lie? Like
BS.
when I get the brand protection stuff or the IP complaints, I crumple them up and I throw them out.
Well, especially with like RA. Yeah. Especially with like RA and OA. Like maybe at a wholesale scale, that could be a little different because now you're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of units. But like at Vans isn't like, are they going to sue me over 16 shoelaces?
You dealing with Voorhees law firm or whatever?
I've heard of that.
So I had a deal with them with GoPro, where they actually sent me a thick envelope with
not the thick. We were served.
Court with the court like with the court papers that said GoPro Voorhees representing GoPro brand, because I was like cleaning up on GoPro. They were like, it was like $5 and they were selling for $40. The little accessories that go on GoPro at Walmart, and they were everywhere, and I bought a ton of them. They sent me a brand thing, cease and desist. I was throwing it out. Then they sent me this packet. It had my name on these court documents from the Massachusetts court. And I don't know if it was real or not, but I really didn't want to find out at that point. At that point, it wasn't a brand enforcement letter. This could have been real, and I don't know if it is. I've heard Voorhees never takes you to court. There's certain occasions, like the infamous OtterBox.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know what I mean? All that stuff. But this guy was making hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, he wasn't making a couple $100 off
Correct.
of Walmart clearance. But I didn't want to play with it. And I was like, all right, so I'll pull it. And then like a couple months later, I like relisted it.
Yeah.
And I started getting brand enforcements again. Before, he's never bothered me again with that. But I also changed my store name. And sometimes I know that it really doesn't make a difference because your URL, I think, stays the same. I think you could change your URL. I'm not too sure. But they didn't bother me after that. But I was like, oh my God, like IP complaints. That's wild. We were talking about like Amazon placement fees.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like when you first started selling on Amazon and then today selling on Amazon? Because everything's gone up. Everything's gone up. So like somebody's seeing that like in the news all the time, right? They see like sellers complaining, fees are so high, placement fees, extra fees, shipping fees, you know, your mother's fees, all this stuff. What do you tell somebody like that wants to get involved in Amazon, but they see all this negativity?
I mean, I just like, there's negativity in anything. There's especially negativity in something along the space of reselling, because it's just like, I feel like people hate because they're like, why didn't I think of that? Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to hate on it because I didn't think of that. Mm-hmm. And with that, I mean, it is what it is. Like, but that's also my personality. And I said it before, like, either you ride the wave or you get off. Like, a business, at the end of the day, it's Amazon. They're going to do whatever they want that benefits them, benefits Jeff Bezos after buying his like 5th house in Miami, probably now because of placement fees, whatever. So anyway,
I swear that, you know, sometimes I swear to God, that's why these extra fees happen. He's like, you know what?
Need another
Just
house.
bought another house. We're just going to make everybody else pay for it. I swear that shit happens, man. It has to. Because I think of it like, you know, they have a saying where they're like, you know, if you're an asshole without money, you're going to be an asshole with money.
Yeah.
Sometimes I could be an asshole and I'm not wealthy. So if you give me like millions and billions of dollars, I might be a slight asshole with money. Yeah. So I couldn't say if I ran such a $1 trillion business, I wouldn't say, you know what, we're going to introduce this fee. I'm going to pay for this house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an asshole thing to say.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, I feel like it's the truth.
It is. And then we're all just like, all right, I guess I'll just put it to East Coast.
Like, why do they have the drop down? Yeah, okay, I'm going to pay $45 on East Coast, but you know what? No, screw that. I'm going to pay $75 and ship it to California just because I want to pay more money.
I'll just put it to East Coast, and I hope Jeff Bezos changed those flooring. Like, here you go. Here's a new couch, Jeff Bezos. I'll put it to West Coast for you. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like, has it changed? Amazon has changed, but truthfully, not as much as I would have, like, thought. Like, I felt like it's been pretty steady. Like, they increase fees, drop fees, whatever. Like, it's just the name of the game again. Like, Amazon is a game. And you just now, okay, placement fees. Now just add in that extra $1.75. But I'm always big. I've always erred high with Amazon. I don't trust them as far as I could throw them. But you always have to err high with Amazon because you just never know. You could buy a product. By the time it gets out there, it's tanked. Now what? Like, that's the game. So it's just kind of getting used to that as well. As for the placement fees, it is what it is. Do I think they'll change? Honestly, probably, knowing Amazon, because they just take and go. Like, I think it's a trial. I mean, maybe they'll stay. I don't know, but I hope they go. But if not, now it pushes you to just find a better, more profitable product.
Because now the only thing I don't like is, do you know, like, I stopped FBA for a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of, when I was creating content on YouTube, I stopped for like 2, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. I had issues with monetization on YouTube, and I was trying different tactics on how to gain viewership and subscribers and all this other stuff. And I was taking like Walmart shorts. Okay. And I was doing it and you can only do it on an iPhone. I was using the green screen feature on YouTube. So I can take like if you put up a short, if you were filming something in Walmart, something crazy happened and you posted it. I came across it, I saw it, and I'm using my iPhone. Can't do it on Samsung, only on iPhone for whatever reason. And if I hit green screen, it would make your short a green screen background. So then I could sit in your short and react to it. And I could either like watch it, make stupid faces, how they do like,
Yeah.
you know, like all that stupid shit that they do. Or you could turn on the microphone and you could actually commentate over your short. So I was doing both because YouTube said in their terms of service that you can react as long as you change the content to be your own. Like, and they said examples are commenting on the original content.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is great because I could take these wild Walmart videos of people getting thrown out. It'll get tons of views and I'll comment on it. Like that's a win for me.
Yes.
They took that. They said it was reused content. I appealed it 3 times. They said, nope. Had my YouTube channel demonetized for 9 months. And I was like, oh my God. And then I stopped selling on Amazon. And the 2 biggest income streams for me went away, like almost overnight. And once I realized I could still make it without Amazon, without YouTube, I said, this is great. I almost felt relieved almost because I'm like, I feel like we depend so much on what we do. And some people don't plan ahead. But if you do plan ahead for things to go away, we always say, what if it went away like this?
Yeah.
Well, it did for me, at least for 5 months. And then Amazon never really went away. I just kind of fell into that like, well, if I'm not making YouTube videos, I really don't want to do Amazon anymore because I fell into the, and I'm not afraid, I'm not ashamed to admit it at all. I felt into the, I liked selling on Amazon, but I felt myself like creating content more.
Yes.
So I was looking for clicks rather than profitable products.
Yes.
So if this product was cheap, I would fill my cart up, and it was cheap, and it would make money, and I would show my numbers. But I know that buying that product meant I'm going to be holding on to it for a long time. So I became
Just for the view.
Just for the view. I want to walk out with 3 carriages. Now, maybe 1 carriage is going to be for the long run, like, profitable. But I was like, holy shit. And I kind of was like in that trap. But you got to get working on that long form content on YouTube. You got to get on it.
Coming soon.
You get it coming now.
Now, tomorrow. Not really. Don't look, but maybe soon.
So tell people where they can find you online if they want to check out and get schooled.
Get schooled. You could get schooled at, no, I'm just kidding. You can learn a lot of great information on, my name is FindItFlipIt, findit.flipit on Instagram, FindItFlipIt on YouTube, and then I think it's FindItFlip or FindItFlipIt, one of those on TikTok because my other TikTok got banned, so I had to change my name for whatever reason, whatever.
Wait, hold on. We can't leave now.
Okay.
Wait, we need, Christian, can we get another like 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Can you tell me
for
about
the people?
Can we talk about the TikTok ban? What happened on TikTok?
Yeah, me and TikTok have beef. But essentially,
wait, how many followers did you have on TikTok before you got banned?
almost, no, I want to say over 7,000. I mean, it was new. So it was new. Like, I think I started posting and then like maybe 3 weeks, I got up to 7,000 followers banned. Literally banned. I'm also banned from Hibbit Sports.
What's that?
We'll just get me on the Hibbit Sports.
Is that from ordering too much for retail arbitrage? Like you blacklisted? Target banned me for a year. 12 months I got banned before I could order online with them again.
See, I'm so careful with Target because I just love shopping there too much. Like, I cannot get banned from Target.
I always talk about my best-selling product from there. It was during the COVID, but I'll talk about that because I always talk about it on every damn video. Wait, so the ban, you got banned. Why?
Yes.
What did you do?
My hooks, they didn't like them. They didn't like that Nike products were paying my rent. They didn't like the hook.
I was going to say, when you say hooks, would you explain what you mean when you say hooks?
So the hook, like a hook is essentially like the first part of my video. So what I say. So like it's notorious for me to say X pays my rent.
Yep.
So if like the Nike hats pay my rent, they would flag it as a ban.
Why
Even
would
though
they?
one of my videos that I got when I was going into a Nike store, like I was doing like kind of like a live sourcing of come with me to Nike, let's see what we could find.
Yeah.
They flagged me for nudity.
What?
No, like they're just have it out for me. Like TikTok has it out for me. They flagged me for nudity, and I was like, I don't get it anymore. Like I don't understand. But yeah, they banned me for having too many flags on the hooks. They would just flag me. Anyone like make money
What would
doing
they
this.
say? But what would they say was, why was that bannable? Did they say why it was bannable?
Well, I got like 4 of them, either 3 or 4, and then they
For
banned
saying
you.
hooks such as like, I paid my rent selling these hats?
Yeah, well, like, and anything with like money. Like this one time, like I posted a video and I was like at a hotel, the JW Marriott in Arizona, came back in, and I was like, Amazon paid for this trip. Flagged immediately.
That's so weird. You should see the crap that's on there. They're flagging
I'm
you
very
for that.
aware.
Yeah.
I'm very aware.
That's on there?
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh yeah, come make some money with me at Nike, and they're like, nudity. And I'm like, make it make sense. I'm showing you golf polos.
That's wild.
I'm showing you golf polos and you're flagging me for nudity.
And they will not give you the account back.
My old one. Now, that's why I said now I have this new one where I'm like, but that's definitely my personality is I'm very much like you take one, you flirt with this line with me and you're done. And TikTok did that. And so I'm like, now I just post like just to post it because I do like TikTok. Like I like consuming it, but like I get scared. Like I'm like, I spend so much time writing the comment, posting the video, and then immediately it'll get flagged. And I'm like, this is a waste of my time.
That's wild. That's wild. Thank you for sharing that. That's crazy. So don't put any hooks. God forbid you're trying to help people and say, I'm paying rent with these hats.
Just
like
dance.
Amazon.
Just stay
Amazon
silent and dance.
I guess
stay
so.
Silent and dance, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Trendy dances, TikTok. God bless you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, you heard it here first. You know where to find her. Find it, flip it. You could probably put it in any search in any social media and she will come up. Most likely, although I did put Find It Flip It in YouTube and it couldn't, you'll have to show me because wasn't coming up.
It's still my old logo. So I don't know. If you were looking for my face, it wasn't there. Okay. So I had to change that all around for Instagram because people were trying to be me and that was the whole thing.
Cool.
So.
Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you so
much. Learned
for having
a lot.
Me.
I'm sure everybody out there learned a lot too.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Boss Podcast. Stay tuned for another episode where you can learn some shit, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.